You know, the Toronto Maple Leafs of the early 70s let a whole lot of young prospects get away, and this guy really stands out for me because a good two-way player, good third-line forward, could score, could play defense, could take a penalty, take a hit, and give them two. And his 3 consecutive seasons with 20 goals or more with Vancouver stands out in their early to mid-1970s resurgence to the playoffs. He was a key player in Vancouver's 5-game series against Montreal in '75. He had 4 points in that postseason. And Gerry O'Flaherty, put this in perspective, ladies and gentlemen. He was playing Junior B in 1968, and within 2 years he was drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Quite a jump from, again, Junior B to Major League to NHL. Now, Gerry O'Flaherty, 5'10", 175, was born in Pittsburgh, but always considered himself a Canadian. His hometown is a great community of Etobicoke. Now, in 67-68, he was playing with the North York Junior B side with 43 points in 36 games, 19 goals. 69 with Kitchener, the OHA, he had 4 goals in 22 contests. But 1970, he really opened out, 78 points in 54 games, including 40 goals. Now, this drew attention of Toronto Maple Leafs, and he was the first U.S. player taken in the 1970 NHL Amateur Draft, round 3, 36th overall. Now, in Etobicoke, he was a strong, multiple athlete because he also played football and baseball at the prestigious Michael Power High School. Now, again, first contract in the NHL was 1970, and his first game was on Christmas Day against Detroit on December 25th, 71. He skated the NHL for most of the 70s, and his last game against the Islanders on March 3rd, 79 for Atlanta, and get this, he scored a goal. Now, he's a 3-time Stanley Cup winner as a scout, twice for the Montreal Canadiens, and once, let me check here, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, Tampa Bay. So well known as one of the best scouts of his era. Now, he played most often in left wing and later in center during his pro career. Now, with the Tulsa Oilers and the Miners, he played on that side that lost to Dallas in the 72 CHL Adams Cup's final. He also tied for the CHL playoffs points lead with 15 for Tulsa in 72. He also had 9 assists in that campaign, again to lead playoff scores. Now, the final goal came in the Nassau Coliseum, a 4-2 loss to the Islanders in that March 3rd contest. Now, an honored member of the Etobicoke Sports Hall of Fame in 2013, he also skated for Team USA at the 1976 Canada Cup, winning 5th place. Now, after Toronto drafted him, Vancouver, after he had played a few games with Toronto in the 1972 season, he was claimed on June 6, 72 by Vancouver in the NHL Intra-League Draft. Now, after several successful seasons with Vancouver, he signed with Minnesota as an unrestricted free agent on July 15, 78. But just a few months later, he was loaned by Minnesota to Tulsa of the CHL. Now, on October 10, 78, his rights were sold by Minnesota to Atlanta. Now, the guy known affectionately as Flapper initially went in the auto parts business in Vancouver after his retirement, opening a muffler shop in 79. He continued to own the business for some time while also working as a North Vancouver-based NHL scout. Now, he's the son of former NHL player, professional coach, and NHL scout John Penis O'Flaherty, who had just ended his career as a pro hockey player in Pittsburgh when his son was born, and he ended up running all scouting for Vancouver when the Canucks selected his son in the 72 NHL Intra-League Draft. Now, he's a younger brother of former NHL scout John O'Flaherty, and the younger brother of former college player and NHL scout Bill O'Flaherty. And also, a lot of people forget this, he's the cousin of the great former NHL player Craig Muni. Now, he was named Montreal's amateur scout for Western Canada prior to the 81 season and remained that position through 2002-2003. Now, he's named Tampa Bay's pro scout for Western Canada after the 2003 campaign and held that position for quite some time. Now, he was also selected by the Jets in the 72 WHA draft, the first ever in February 72. He began playing center for the first time with Vancouver during the 74 campaign, and it paid off because he was playing mostly second and third line, some power play as well. Now, he grew up in Toronto. He was a big fan, not of the Maple Leafs, but of Gordie Howe and Detroit Red Wings. Now, the big line he played with Vancouver, and still one of the better lines in Vancouver history. He skated with Chris Ovison and Gerry Monahan for most of the mid-1970s. Now, again, he always considered himself Canadian, even though he was a U.S. citizen. But what he's remembered by a lot of people was his suspension for shoving a linesman during a January 21, 76 game in Minnesota. I'm not sure exactly what suspension was, but it really stood out because he's not a person to lose temper. So to see Mr. O'Flaherty do that, he might have been provoked, as we say. Now, when he made the Maple Leafs, he put him on a line, ladies and gentlemen, and he called it the Hall of Fame line with Ron Ellis and Normie Ullman. And that was a lot of pressure, but he showed a lot of skill. Now, he also became an active local member of the Vancouver Canucks alumni after his retirement, and is well known for doing a lot of outreach with charities and youth groups throughout what they call Canuck Nation. Now, there's 2 seasons in Tulsa. He put up 45 goals and 104 points in 127 games, with 15 points in Tulsa's 1973-72 playoff run. First season, his rookie campaign with Vancouver, 30 points in 78 games, and then 25, 25, and 20 goals, 74-76. And again, those 2 big goals against Montreal in 75. 77 found himself back with the Oilers in Tulsa for 5 games, with 12 goals, 12 assists, for 24 points. 78 split time between Tulsa and Tulsa and Vancouver. 17 points in 59 games with Vancouver, and 16 points in 10 games with Tulsa. 79 split time between Tulsa of the CHL, Atlanta of the NHL, and Nova Scotia of the AHL, with Nova Scotia had 22 points, 35 games, 8 goals. Tulsa, 42 points in 38 games, including 18 goals. And 26 for the campaign, and again that 1 goal with Atlanta, and the big Canada Cup appearance again in 1976. Technically, he was an American, but for the rules of the Canada Cup, they could use him. And O'Flaherty really impressed me, ladies and gentlemen. Extremely smooth player. If he would have played with the Montreal Canadiens or stayed with Toronto, he could have easily been a 30-goal a year guy. But I look at his defensive play. In 1975 and 76, he was a combined plus 17. So he knew where the puck was. He knew how to play defense. And yeah, more traditional 20-goal season guy. But like I said, but what I feel kind of embarrassed for, he should have let him play a few more games in the NHL, because he would have broke 100 goals. Final NHL totals: 438 games, 194 points with 99 goals, only 168 minutes and penalties. And the 2 playoff runs for Vancouver in 75 and 76, 7 games, 2 assists, 2 goals for 4 points. So Gerry O'Flaherty, a tradition of knowing hockey, playing hockey, thinking hockey. The O'Flahertys are well known for the family, somebody being some of the best scouts. And Vancouver, as soon as they found O'Flaherty available, and what better way to know how good your son plays if that's your father? I think one of the best things that Vancouver did was picking him up, because he was caught in the numbers game in Toronto. He probably would have been mired in the minors, or had to wait till the 74 draft for Washington and Kansas City to get a regular turn. But Gerry always was a quality player, and that's why we're doing the podcast. So if you like what you're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, and keep your stick on the ice.